Hello everybody and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips. And I have just a quick announcement. We don't have any events coming up until after the first of the year, but winter semester begins January 21st at the Wellness Farm Institute. So if you are interested in getting a diploma called the Nutrition Educator Diploma, or just registering to take a class because you want to learn more about something, it's time to do that. So we are offering chemistry, biology, women's health, microbiology, diet and autoimmune diseases, dietary supplements, food preparation, scope of practice issues, and abnormal psychology and eating disorders. Those are the offerings for winter semester. So if you need more information, send me an email. I'll be happy to email you a catalog with complete course descriptions and a calendar showing you what nights of the week the classes take place, etc., etc. So on to news. I have two things I want to talk about today, and the first one is and this is kind of a disappointing but not surprising thing, is a recent study has shown that people who have kids are less likely to be healthy than people who don't have children. It actually should be the other way around for a reason I'll get to later. But in any case, the survey compared parents of kids who they had children under the age of 18 with those who weren't parents. And the parents were more likely to be obese. They were less likely to eat a health-promoting diet. The parents were less likely to have an exercise program or describe their exercise program as vigorous. They were a lot less likely to give even passing thought to their exercise program or to believe that physical activities mattered much at all. And parents are less likely to consider health and purchasing foods than non-parents. So the parents did say, and I thought this was what was sort of weird about it all, that they focused on the diet and lifestyle habits of their children, however. So I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed. And the reality is that if you look at the comparisons between the two groups, nobody was doing spectacularly well. But I do think it's great for parents to be concerned about the diet and lifestyle habits of their kids, but they're missing the very best way in which they can influence their kids' choices, and that is to lead by example. If you want your children to enjoy optimal health and practice great habits, do it yourself. One thing that we are all painfully aware of, if you've been a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about, is that kids are a lot more influenced by what they observe than what they are told, and this is particularly true the older they get. But even at a young age, kids will imitate, and we've all seen examples of this, and we've also seen examples of parents taking the lead and watching their own behavior. Think about language, for example. How many of you have had a 5-year-old kid parrot back to you something you wish that they hadn't heard you say, right? You think, my gosh, I got to clean up my own language around here if I don't want my 5-year-old saying these things. Well, so it is with food and diet and exercise. If you want your kids to be healthy, best thing you can do is be optimally healthy yourself and lead by example. Okay. The other topic I wanted to cover today has to do with addressing the myth of healthy obesity. Obese patients experience faster cognitive decline regardless of their metabolic status, according to a recent study. One of the reasons I wanted to cover this today is not because I find this interesting, but I constantly hear from people who are 20 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds overweight, that they're basically healthy except for their weight. Their biomarkers are good, doing pretty well other than their weight. And I've always said all by itself, obesity and being overweight is a risk factor in terms of health. Well, as it turns out, there's a lot of data that shows that that's true. For example, if you're overweight, you're not only more likely to develop diseases, but you are more likely to die of those diseases than if you are more normal weight. Well, anyway, in this particular study, the researchers looked at people who were not overweight, people who were overweight, and people who were obese, and looked at their cognitive experience. And what they determined in looking at memory, reasoning, and verbal skills is that overweight people lost cognitive function regardless of whether or not they had accompanying health issues or what they called metabolic abnormalities, which included high triglycerides, high cholesterol, blood pressure, and a high BMI, and a high fasting glucose level. Now, in the normal weight population, if cognitive decline was different between the people who did and did not have metabolic abnormalities, but in the obese population, there was no difference. In other words, those people who were obese lost cognitive function even if they had no other accompanying diseases. So, just one more point that we can make, or reason we can give people who are overweight to pay attention to their weight, even if nothing else bad has happened yet. Now, as healthcare practitioners, and this particular part of the message goes out to those of you who are in healthcare practice, our goal should be to address health issues, of course, and that includes having conversations, which can be a little difficult, about people's weight status. Now, we don't hesitate to talk about other habits like smoking because it doesn't seem so personal and we're not quite so worried about offending people, but in not discussing weight issues with people who are overweight or obese, we do them a terrible disservice, hoping that they'll notice on their own that something is wrong or do something about it, whether we talk about it or not. So I don't like talking about it because I don't want to make people feel bad, but the other side of it is I think that if you're in the healthcare business, these are tough decisions and discussions that you have to be engaged in. So anyway, if you're listening to this message, watching this video clip, and you have a weight problem, one more reason why you want to take care of that. And I know it's just a few weeks before the holiday, but that doesn't mean it isn't a good time to start and do better. You can actually lose weight and get healthy during the holiday as well as you can any other time of year. All right, so that's it for today's news. I will be back again on Thursday, and as always, feel free to pass this on to anybody who you think would benefit from seeing it.